Once we've prepped our random sample layer, we have to populate it. And so we're going to stratify by the grid codes. We're going to do this based on the total number of samples per code, that rating of 10 to 3 to 1, and then weighted by area because we want more samples in the large area polygon. So I have to calculate the area, which you've done before, using that calculate geometry into a new field for each of the polygons. And I need this total, the sum total for each of them. So I go ahead and do the summarize by the grid codes, and I get then the overall area for each of the strata. There's 272 for strata 1 and 178 square kilometers, and etc. Now I want to add a field into which I'll calculate the number of samples for each of the individual polygons. And again, I have to weight this by the area of that specific polygon and the total number of samples relative to the total area. So here for grid code strata 3, I select it and I want 714 points over the 221.9 square kilometers. So I use this integer function because it has to be an integer number of points. And it's 714 points and weighted by the area of the polygon over the total area. I add this 0.05 for rounding to try and minimize the impact of rounding errors and getting my integer number, and I calculate it, and you see I get points per polygon. That one big polygon gets most of the points, and the smaller ones get points also. Now I do the same thing for grid code 2, this strata 2, but I got to remember to substitute the different values for the total area and for the total number of points. It gets fewer points because it's not as steep, and I want to basically give it less weight, and there's only 178.5 square kilometers, so it distributes across those for grid code 2. And again, for grid code or strata 1, the same thing. It has a different set of thresholds, 72 points and 272.6. Ignore that I type in 276.2. It should be 272.6, but you get the idea. So here then I calculate the number of samples, and I have them here for each of the individual polygons. Now I need to calculate or create my random points. So I go back up into the data management tool, into the sampling, and create random points, and I can create them based on this field that I generated. So I have to take the input and output locations, and in the input file I'm going to use this field sample number to determine the number I put per polygon. And you see it assigns them here with a higher number in the steeper polygons and a lower number in the less steep areas. So after that, then I want to extract my values to my points like I've done before. So here I go to the DEM and I pull out the DEM elevations to my calculated points, and then they're ready for interpolation.